All right. We're entering the home stretch now for our behind the keyboard segment. We have a simple one this week. And this is one we will probably revisit a bit as as we all have a chance to think about it a little bit more. Things come up. I just wanted to ask you guys generally, when you say, I cover sports, what in your mind is the number one biggest misconception about covering sports from folks in fandom?
That I can get ticket deals.
I was wondering if you were going to say that. I feel like that one's so overstated sometimes. I was like, I can't possibly say that. The
But
ticket.
I think that, and then I still, like, at least once or twice a month, have someone asking me. And then people ask me about Celtics too. I'm like, what? I don't cover the Celtics. I don't cover anybody right now. I'm unemployed. But it's like, yeah, everyone seemed, whether it's free tickets or a ticket deal or just all this stuff, like, no, it would be unethical, like, for me to have some sort of hookup like that through the team. And beyond that, like, it's fantasy land. Like, I'm not gonna get free tickets.
I mean, some teams like put the clamps on players with how much they can
Yeah.
request. And the thought that it's like, yeah, freaking Cranker from NESN.com is gonna get, 4 seats to Patriots Jets is
Yeah.
just,
I think the other one I was going to say, because that one, I agree with you, that one is a little overstated. My other one was just like, and I don't know if like the casual fan feels this way, but I know like, some sort of hardcore fans, like, there's that really angry Patriots fan community that I think a lot of us have seen that love to say this, that like we're all in the pockets of the crafts, or that like, it's like we can all be bought and had by like, a year ago the Patriots did an off the record mixer where we had all off record conversations with the new coaching staff and had like hors d'oeuvres and stuff like that. And like some rumor got out there that there was beer, which was not true. There was no beer. It was Sprite. And people think that like we all just like carry the water for the team because we get free pizza and free food and stuff like that. And like, or that, we're not going to criticize the team or be negative because we're like beholden to Patriots PR, which is just like not the case. Like they're not going to pull your credential. That's not going to happen. Sure, is there a balance or a line to walk with, if you're trying to get source information and talking to people and they're going to give you something, but it's kind of a two-way street in some cases, of course. But as far as like freedom to report negatively on the team, like we all have it, and they're not going to pull your credential over it. So that whole thing is totally overstated.
yeah, I hadn't thought about that component, but that's a good one because one of my pet peeves is when I see people talking about like, oh, they're just doing it for the clicks. I'm like, oh, they just did that for the clicks, and it's like, I only know how a handful of outlets run, right? Like firsthand. Um, I don't know if I've ever had a boss say to me, you need to do this so we can get some clicks. Like w- yeah. So this might be where we start to disagree a little bit because I think there's a difference between saying people are interested in this and we need to follow this trend and produce as much content around this as we can versus you got to do this for the clicks. Like I feel like the way it's produced to that is very different. And a good example, this is not sports related, but it's like when there's a plane crash, you will notice in the weeks afterwards, you will hear about every freaking plane crash in the country, in the world, because clearly that's what everyone is reading about afterwards. And I think that there's a difference between, oh, they're just writing this for clicks around like literal hard news and things like that versus like, the desperate for clicks thing just pisses me off sometimes
Well,
because there's no way to guarantee clicks. Even if you write the most clickbaity thing in the world, there's no way to guarantee it.
Logan, the other thing I think is when like readers or fans complain about doing it for clicks, where do they think clicks come from? They're
Yeah,
like the clicks come from people like you, like them,
engaging with it.
clicking
Yeah.
on the article. Like it's not like you write a clickbaity article and all of a sudden it gets a million. No, it has a million clicks because
Yeah.
a million people clicked on it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and when people are like, oh, I'm so tired of hearing about this or that or whatever, I always say to them, well, people need to stop reading about it and I'll stop writing about it. Because it's like, it's not clickbaity, it's not beating a story to death if people care about it. Like, And there were plenty of times that I was sitting around at Nessa and being like, I can't believe I'm about to write another freaking rumor post off of this guy or whatever. But if people are reading it, then clearly there's an audience for it. And it's like, as we talk about journalism dying, there's nothing wrong with targeting an audience with content that clearly they care about.
Let's do clickbait another time. Because I want to talk about
and
misconceptions.
aggregation and
Yeah.
people in the industry bagging on aggregation.
Because I think that we have a lot of stuff to say about that. It could be a whole episode. I'm
Yeah.
going to say the biggest misconception that I run into is just the nature of the work. So many people that when I talk to you the first time, they think it's like, when you go to a game, like you'll leave home at 5:30 for a 7 p.m. game, and then you sit with your buddies and you eat popcorn and you drink a beer and you watch, and then afterwards you go and you talk to the players. People would be really surprised sometimes when I'd be like, hey, I'm covering a game tonight, I'm heading in at like 3:30 in the afternoon. They're like, what time's the game today? It's like, yeah, well, I gotta get there early, like I gotta get set up, make sure I get a seat in that minuscule media room, got stuff to do. So it's like there's coaches, locker room availability, and then afterwards there until midnight, sometimes later if the star players are deciding not to come out until like 12:30 a.m. And so that I think is the big thing. It's just the nature of what the job is it's not just like kind of like hanging out watching the game and then you get to like fire off a quick blog post. It's like
A few takes.
yeah, you got to get there early. You got to there's a lot of hanging around and trying to see what you can do, a lot of waiting for people to get done showering. So that I think is the number one misconception that I run into. Definitely the ticket thing as well.
Yeah, I think, and I was thinking that too, and it really just similar to what you said is it's not glamorous. Like for some people, for Stephen A. Smith, it's probably very glamorous, but like for the average person, especially today when the job security sucks, it can be highly stressful. It pays like shit. Like in my case, as someone who was a beat reporter, like yeah, was it fun to fly around the country and do all this stuff? Of course. Like I'm not first world problems. Like it was cool, but it was stressful. It's like a lot of really awful connecting flights and long layovers and like you're only in that city for like a day and a half or 2 days max, and you're rushing the whole time, and
Poor
getting food on
thing.
it. No, I'm just saying, but it's stressful. Like it's not like you get to the city and just go unpack your bags and then go to the local Six Flags or something. Like you're maybe
You go to
some
Disney.
Like
Everyone
any
knows
adult does, immediately beeline for the Six Flags.
or the bar. Like I'm just saying, it's hard work. It's kind of constant work. You're never truly off. You're always logging on in tough spots, and even in the situations like where you do get to travel around and cover the team around the country, like you're away from your family a lot, especially in the case of baseball writers, and it's a lot of long nights. Like, and again, these days for bad pay and bad job security. So I think it's not glamorous. Is it fun? And does it beat being a janitor, as Bill Belichick would say? Of course. But it is a grind, and sometimes it is not all that fun.
You just tell on yourself, like, would the wheels touch down? You'd be like, man, I have to do this Caden Ellis crank, but Magic Mountain's really calling my name. Like,
I would do both. I found a way to
yes.
do both. I found a way to do both. Pull down the tarmac, do the Patriots practice squad elevation, and then be like, yeah, what's the top tourist trap in Cleveland? I gotta go check it out.